Again, our apologies. Yesterday, I had a beautiful streaming service, and we had a little glitch in there, so it didn't stream over to our biggest platform, which is our Facebook pages. So, our apologies for that, and hopefully, you got to see when we did a little later and got up on those platforms. So, with that being said, folks, today we're looking at a really interesting concept, which is so much of our life is this idea of like seeing is believing. Like I'll believe it when I finally see it. And this is a beautiful part of the Bible, the story in the Gospel of John, follow up to Easter, kind of wrapping up Easter here, where Jesus says, be careful with that. Maybe it's more than seeing is believing. Maybe believing is seeing. And that's what we're going to look at today. And it's a fascinating little topic with some really interesting little twists and turns. So this is the story, as many of you probably know, story of doubting Thomas. Thomas says, look, I'm not going to believe until I actually see it, until I actually can see the wounds, put my fingers in the wounds, and get that Jesus really died and was resurrected. So that's what we pick up here. This is John 21, verse 26. And after 8 days, Jesus' disciples were again inside, and Thomas was with them. Jesus came, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst of them and said, peace to you. And this is the third time, he's continually wishing, as there's three first wishes right out of that gate. Peace to you. Then he said to Thomas, reach your finger here and look at my hands, and reach your hand here and put it there into my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believe. And Thomas answered and said to him, my Lord and my God. So he saw the wounds, he touched the wounds, and God's like, yep, it's the real deal. Jesus said to him, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. And it's a beautiful piece there, because, folks, it is really interesting to start to flip the parts and start to see that believing is actually seeing. And what does that mean? Because belief from a Christian New Church perspective, belief in Jesus, belief in Christianity, belief in the resurrection, it's a lot more than just a theological statement. I mean, if it were only so easy, right? If there was a list and then I subscribe to this list of things and then it's done. That's sort of a creedal faith, creedal. And it's the belief that if I just accept this creed, then I'm good to go. Now, it's interesting because Jesus really talks very, very little about creed. He does that very little. He does a lot in terms of service and action, and this is how to regard people, and this is why we love people. And biggest lesson, best sermon ever is where he washes the disciples' feet. Again, did not offer a creedal statement. There are no long creedal statements at the Last Supper, by the way, which is kind of interesting, right? There's a lot of talk about love. So I want to talk a bit about what does that belief actually be? What is belief? Like how is it? How can I have belief in my life? Because a lot of people, if you just hold it at an intellectual level, of course you're going to struggle. Intellectually, I don't think that's where religion really hangs out. How does that sound to you? I don't think it hangs out on a bunch of intellectual propositions. It hangs out in what we do in our lives, and that's where we actually find God. It was interesting getting ready for this morning. I ran across this little piece of Christian New Church theology, and it's Manuel Swedenborg writes, spiritual certainty or trust derives its essence in life from good actions done out of love, and not from truth that belongs to the religious faith apart from those good actions. So belief actually is embedded in good actions. It's embedded in serving other people. So believing is seeing, and seeing is believing. We can see how those all work. And when we really believe that God is in those events and that love is in those events, and then we do those things, those service parts, that's where we actually will come to believe in God, which is fascinating because it's beyond like some big intellectual thing. Like all of a sudden we've proven a geometric proof. Little aside, I have like sub-zero interest in somehow like trying to prove God to people geometrically. I feel like you want proof of God, like go out and serve, feel those loving feelings, watch the connections you have with other people. Then you'll get to see what belief actually is and how it looks in life. And that is a very different kind of certainty. It's a certainty where I know personally that if I go out and serve, or other people go out and serve, however that might look for them, 100% of the time, they will find something of value. I mean, absolutely can guarantee that. And that's a very different certainty than an intellectual proof. Now, of course, we have to be careful with it too. And I treat this for a little humor, and some of you with a good sense of humor will laugh at this too. It's like, and we don't want to take that too far. We're literally like we're hunting for faith by we're going to go out there and do good, and we're going to like strain towards it. That's not it. That's an ego thing. That will not work. You won't find God. You won't find belief. You'll just annoy other people. And this is what C.S. Lewis. You got to love this line by C.S. Lewis. He says he's talking about a woman who had taken it way too far, way too much ego in her attempt to serve other people. And what C.S. Lewis wrote is she spent all her life doing good to others. Notice the word to, not with or for. She spent all her life doing good to others. You could tell you could tell the others by their hunted look. I want to read that again. She spent all her life doing good to others. You could tell the others by their hunted look. That's it. Those people are just like way too over the top. And so what do? We back way off because we feel like we're being hunted by somebody who's trying to do good. And that's just not it either. Really doing good has a softness to it. It has a grace to it. It has an openness to it. And we really will come to see God through that. I absolutely believe that. And so that's the part for today, folks. If you're somebody who's struggling with belief, and some people definitely do, it's all okay. It's all part of it. Just ask yourself, what part of me is struggling? And if it's the intellectual part, like I can't put it all together, maybe just go, so what? So what? So what? So what if it doesn't all intellectual? I can't put it all together in my head. And instead, look for belief in just a gentle action of service for other people. However that might look for you, just a gentle action of serving others. And you'll find a certain spiritual certainty there. And take a look at that and stand in awe of that, because it's pretty cool, to be honest. And it's a cool thing to watch, and it's cool to see how that works in people's lives. And you really will find belief there. Absolutely will believe. Well, actually, I believe that you will come to believe that there is a God, and that Christ is this model, this beautiful model of how God desires us all to live in this life. So that's my thought for today, folks, and I hope that makes sense. Again, my apologies for yesterday. That was on me. And with that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and we're going to do a little prayer, a little blessing, and then after all that, we'll say hi to folks on our social media platforms. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, friends. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend ahead. Just two quick reminders as I pull these things up. Reminder number one is I will be down in South Carolina on Sunday. If you are in the South Carolina area, I know we do have a number of parishioners down there. You're more than welcome to join me for a small service we're doing with some folks down there. About, I guess, probably 15 to 20 people are doing a little church service down there. Invited me down on a weekend off, so I will be doing that, and you are more than welcome to join us. It's at the Pawleys Island area, and if that interests you, just go ahead and shoot me a note. And the other one is just a reminder as well that on Tuesday we are starting another small group, and this one is a book study on the book Heaven and Hell, which is talking about life after death and that kind of stuff. If that has interest to you. All right. So a little hello to people here. Martha, good morning to you out there in the Midwest, my friend. Betty writes, good morning. So great spending time last night with our wonderful group. Yeah, it sure was, Betty. What Betty's referring to there, we have a group that started in COVID and has continued to go. It's a wonderful group. And yeah, any of you folks want to start up a group, let me know. They really end up being, as Betty would attest, many people would attest on here, they end up being incredibly close and deep, rich friendships that are very, very moving. Ray, good to see you, buddy, and looking forward to our hamburger lunch today at True Foods. Rita, good morning to you, my friend, and I hope you're doing well. Gene, good morning to you. Great to see you joining us this morning as well, my friend. Marcus, thank you for your help ironing out the technology yesterday. The problems are on me, the solutions are on Marcus, just so you folks know where the true thanks belong. Sherry, great to have you joining us this morning, and I love that rainbow there. Beautiful stuff. Linda writes, gentle action of serving others. That sounds so beautiful. I will look for those opportunities. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Yeah, and it's that gentleness, right? I love the phrase, the wisdom of tenderness, Linda. And I think there's really something to that, right? Like there's a wisdom of tenderness, there's a gentleness, and that's the place we really want to be. Natalie writes, struggling today after some bad news for my daughter. Please send some prayers her way. Natalie, we definitely will, and if only if you want to, but a couple of things. One is please feel free to put her name in the chat, and we'll all keep her name in our prayers today, and just her first name is fine. And the other one is, of course, if you do need to reach out, I'd be glad to take a phone call or a Zoom call if that would be of any kind of help, my friend. All right. Mary Haney writes, good morning, friends. And Mary was part of our little group last night, which was very, very sweet. And Paige writes, good morning, Paige. I need to tell you, when I read that C.S. Lewis quote, I thought Paige Crumlin will find this very funny. And I imagine you did. And Natalie gives us her name, Molly. So we will keep Molly in our prayers, Natalie, and anything we can do, obviously reach out, and we're more than happy to help in any way we can. All right, my friends. Well, that's it, and wishing you all the very best. And hopefully on Monday, fingers crossed, I'll be able to join you from down in South Carolina before my flight takes off. And if there's some technological glitches there, I won't be joining you Monday, but that's what we're hoping to do. So God bless, folks. Wishing you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.